Hey everybody, welcome to Jen Lowry Writes. Okay, so today is a celebration day for me, just like yesterday was. While we were writing yesterday, I hit my nano goal, which doesn't mean I'm going to stop writing or stop the sprints because I still have a few chapters left to go. And I think that Nano has been so amazing that I want to have Nano every day. Like, seriously, I'm going to figure it out, guys, on how to keep this going, keep my routine, even if I have to write in pockets. I'm going to write in pockets just so I can ensure that my life is balanced and not void of the writing. I need that as a part of my life. And I know that. I truly am so thankful to my writing friends who have encouraged me for Nano. So I do want to take this opportunity that I've received my award. If you haven't seen it on the banner yet, I have received my certificate. I can have a little speech and thank everyone. Let me get my pen. Okay, of course, I would like to thank everyone, especially Anne and Tish, for giving me this opportunity to experience Nano and grow as a writer and connect with new writer friends. It's all because of you ladies. And I love my WWJs, my Writing Warriors for Jesus. And so I had to just say that really fast because if it wasn't for my ladies, I would not have signed up for Nano. And now I'm looking forward to November because not only do I get to participate in Nano again, because I'm hooked, this is like a lifelong thing. It did its job well, but I also get to do the Young Writers Program with my writing club, the Mighty Pen, and my students. And I'm going to do it school-wide this year because I understand the power of that structure routine, even if we are writing in pockets. So I have really enjoyed also trying new strategies out for the month of July. If you guys have followed the channel before, you knew last year, complete pantser, you could have never convinced me to sit down and look at a chart, a diagram, a 3-act structure, or a Save the Cat speech. However, I am so thankful. And I can evolve and I can try new things. I have some tremendous takeaways for myself after going through this process of Nano writing this thriller. Writing an adult thriller, experiencing brand new books, just truly immersing myself in the genre. I have learned so much in such a short amount of time. That is not to say I'm bragging. That is to say that I am understanding myself better as an author, which I think all of us do that as we are on our road for self-discovery and reflection, and we are growing each day. When we write things on the page, we get better as the days go along, and that's a good reason to build these habits. It's a positive thing. So I do want to take this time, though, to let you guys know that I'm going to be popping up some YouTube videos soon because I've been receiving some emails and some video requests. So some of those video requests are going to be from my education side of my life. Someone asked, could I teach them how to read an article? I also have a request, can I teach them how to write a basic paper? And then another person asked, can I teach them how to fill out a form? That when they get in front of a form, their mind kind of goes blank. And what is it that they can do to help ease their attention when they're having to fill out forms? So I am going to be doing those 3 videos. If you've got some type of video, tutorial topic that's literacy based, and you need some help on it, you can send me an email. I'm going to put it down underneath here. You can email me. You can drop it into comments because I am taking video requests right now. And while I still have some time left in my summer before my school year starts, I want to go ahead and help you guys build some videos that could be productive for your life. So those 3 topics have come up by viewers, so I know that those are coming within the next week. It is on my to-do list. My to-do list is a scrambled up bunch of stuff. That's how I note take, y'all. I know we have, our own way of note-taking and processing and journaling, and this all makes sense to me. Um, in fact, trying to keep the weekly schedule kind of limited me. I like the list schedule. And so I have learned also from the month of June, trying out a digital calendar that I created for my WWJs and myself, that I love creating the list, not necessarily like tying myself in to the same day. There is something that I created this morning on my list that I know that I've got to put out my author newsletter. It's the middle of the month. I usually do that over a weekend. And I get a lot of like hits on my blog on Sundays. So I also know I want to write a blog this week. There's other things that are on my list, like creating a template where I will be able to update my descriptions on my YouTube channel videos. Because a lot of times, guys, I'm going live. I'm creating all of these videos, but I don't put things down into the description. So I'm wasting all of that opportunity to connect with you guys and show you where I live outside of Twitch and YouTube. And so I think creating a template that I will be able to easily update on Google Docs, be able to copy and paste. So I'm going to try to hit like all of my, like at least my last 20 videos. That's my goal for this week, I could possibly do more, but to update all of my description pieces and let it be very consistent. You never know when someone will find you if you're, on YouTube or on Twitch. You'll never know when they will find you. That might be their first video exposure of you, and then they would have an opportunity to go out and follow you on Twitter or Instagram or where you live the most. So I am going to create that template. And then I've got the videos to create and then a Google form. And I've already created the Google form this morning. And that's the thing. I know some of the things that I want to occur throughout the week. And then I have to prioritize them. Well, in order to create the template, I needed to figure out, okay, what's my best strategy, for everything in here? What do I need to go ahead and pre-make so when I do upload that template into my documents, into my descriptions on YouTube and Twitch, it has everything that I wanted. And so I created a join my mailing list. And I want to show you how easy it is, okay, to create a Google form. Just in case you've never created a Google form before, I'm going to give you my join my mailing list as an example, because I think that we all need examples in our life. So this is the form that I created. It only took, we'll get time to see how long it takes to create a form. But I'm sure it was less than 5 minutes for me to create this join my mailing list. And then I went out, put it on my author pages all over. I've made it easy for you to join now because I know I'm about to release a newsletter and I would like to build my mailing list. My mailing list is not in the thousands. I would love to have that as a goal before next summer. And how can I do that? Make it easy for people to sign up. Yes, there's a pop-up box now on my website. I did add that for it to take people into a subscribe now. So you can subscribe on my actual website. But in case people are not on my website, what are some other ways that I can easily do it and collect and compile data without using MailChimp or some other service? Google Forms is free. So I do want to encourage you guys to try out Google Forms. And then what I'm going to do is once you collect and populate these emails, you have to keep them secure. You can't share them out. You cannot use them for any other purposes than what you originally told the person. And that is to give them, like for me, I'll show you what mine looks like as a model. I'm going to go ahead and screen share because I didn't actually think about this idea until this week. I should have done this a long time ago. So I just said, join my mailing list. And I found my banner that I made on Canva to go ahead and personalize mine. And if you don't have Canva, it's free. Go ahead and sign up. But you can also use the themes that are inside Google Forms. So there's a lot of different options that you can choose from. I uploaded my image, but you can do all kinds of fonts. Do you see that? I like the playful one. I'm going to update it. And what's really cool about the Google products is that they update with you as you go. So if you do have an issue, you want to go back in and you fix it, don't worry, you can fix it really fast. I just created this. As you can see, I have 0 responses, but it is going to create a spreadsheet for me, which will allow me to be able to populate those email addresses and add them to my own database that I've created in a Google Sheet. And that's what I use to then transfer over into my Wix Shoutout. And I update my email contacts in Wix Shoutout. And that's what I use to send my newsletters or my 3 announcements a month with my free plan. And so look, I'm like, look, you can give me your first or your full, whatever you prefer as far as your name, create it to be required. And of course, this form is collecting email addresses. That's the whole point of the form. So I just want to let people know it's for newsletters, special announcements, and to provide authored updates. It's all about my author life. This isn't an Education 101 form for my teachers or anything like that. This is just my author world, which is fiction and nonfiction. So you could get like a hodgepodge of whatever it is my update is. It's going to be revolving around my author life. So now I want to show you how easy it is to actually create a form for yourself. Okay, so I'm getting into my account. Oh, let me see. Oh, so my husband just texted me. Oh, I gotta look. See, don't start the timer of how long this is because. Okay, let's just take a minute here. It's just us. Okay, can you guys see that? My husband just sent me that. Oh my gosh, absolutely amazing. This one is not the Chevy, but I still love it though. Love it. I want a 1955 Chevy. My parents were married in 1955. That's why Magical Christmas Wedding, my novel in honor of my parents' love. It was set in 1955 when they traveled back in time. So, and I want a truck. He knows I love classic cars, y'all. Okay, I digress. I'm going to teach you guys how to do this easy. Join my mailing list now. If you do not want to pay for a service, now you can go and do any of these services that you want. I want you to look over here on the side. You can do this through Drive. I love my Jamboard. I talk about Jamboard a lot. Now that we're here, I wanted to show you. You can have Google Meets up to 100 people, so you can have writing groups and book talks and so much. I love it. There's your docs. You can just pull them from there, or you can go from Drive. You can create a classroom, do slides or sheets, so much to do. And then if you want to see like all of the other G Suite work that you can get, I would just suggest that you spend some time researching Google products. No, I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm just telling you, I work with these on a day-to-day basis, but I also absolutely love Google products. Okay, so go to your Drive, and then from your Drive, okay, I want you to come here, and I want you to hit New, and I want you to go to More and go to Forms. All right. So now that you're into Forms, go ahead and title it, Join My Mailing List. And in your in your form description, you can say, Jen Lowry will use your email address securely, or whatever you want to say, and only send out monthly newsletters, author updates, and special announcements about her author life. And I could spell announcements. I left off the end. And then you can say, you know, up here, oh, I forgot to say, thanks for subscribing. Okay, click here, and then this is where you would say email. Enable email collections. And so it's an automatic. This form is collecting email addresses. That's the whole point, right? Then you come here and you want to add a question, and then you can do first name. If you want to do last name, you can add another question. Like if you have a silly one, like if you could be a shark, what would you be? That was a question that I used this week for the Sunday Killer. Like if you want to do some little quirky thing, you know, are you a coffee drinker? What's your favorite kind of coffee? I really want to know. And you could just have some kind of thing that goes with your brand. You could ask a silly question, and it just gives you somebody like an understanding of who your person is that's subscribing to you. You can also do this. You can also do a short answer that asks the person, are you interested in my fiction work, or are you, and then are my Bible studies? And then you could click multiple choice. So you could change it here, and this one you could say Bible study, devotionals, or you could say fiction, or you could say both. And then that way, if you wanted to separate who your audience was, this is going to populate on your spreadsheet, and then you will be able to take that field in your spreadsheet and be able to organize it and be able to separate out your mailing list. And so here's your customized theme. You can change it any way you want. You can just choose an image from there. You can pop it in. My family is a musical family. Then you could go in and click it again. And you can make it decorative or formal, whichever one you want. I like the playful theme. And then when you hit send, you can actually, I've invited you to fill out this form and include it inside your email that you could send to your friends and things like that. Or you can just come here, you get a huge long link, hit shorten URL, and then you'll just be able to copy this, paste it up on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. You can also embed your HTML. And guess where I'm going to tell you you can embed this at? You can go into your websites, you can go into your blogs, you can embed this information, and that way people can just click right in there on the form. So that lets me know I need to do an update in my blog. I told you guys I'm going to be writing a blog this weekend. I needed that form done. So you see how easy it was to be able to do this. Super easy. And then I'm going to put sample mailing list form. And you can star it. That way it'll be easy for you to find. You can also move it to a writing folder if you want it to be in a particular place. And it's really quick to be able to see your responses. And so I would suggest that once you make this live, you got it, and you start sharing it out, that you do a check-in system so you don't forget, because if you've got people that have signed up, they're going to be expecting something from you within the next few days. And if you keep a kind of a consistent newsletter rotation, then it's like, okay, I write a newsletter always at the middle of the month, kind of at the beginning of the month. I kind of do at least 2 a month. So I know that this is kind of my weekend to shine. Just send something out. Last month, I sent out things like illustrations that I was working on for my middle grades book. I sent out images for that. This month, I'm going to talk about Camp NaNoWriMo, and I'm going to talk about my cabin in the woods, which is actually my personal group that's in Nano. And I'm going to do that because if people want to connect with me, they will know how to find me on Nano, and they will also know I'm going to have this cabin open, and I'm going to continue working this cabin even in the fall of the year. And it is for thriller horror writers. So that means in November, who knows what I'm going to be working on and writing. I'm just going to keep that open. There is no spoiler alerts here because I actually don't know. But I do know I am going to participate in November. So I'm going to let my people know. And Cabin in the Woods is always going to be open. If we get more than 20 in the camp, in that cabin, I'm just going to move it to Facebook and have a Cabin in the Woods Facebook group and just grow it from there. I'm just going to let it organically grow as it moves in time. So I did want to share with you guys how I created that form. You saw how fast it was. And then I just shared it all out. And then if you would like to sign up for my newsletter, you've got the link and you can use it as a model. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying that my newsletters are the best thing since sliced bread, but I am saying that I enjoy creating them with Wix Shout Out. I love the way they look, the presentation, and the ease of it. And so I really use that platform, but there's a lot of different ways you can create a newsletter. You can create one in Canva. You can create one with your websites. But I like that style. All right. So I just wanted to give that as a quick look. It took 20 minutes for me to talk and run all of that out. But I'm getting ready to write. And we've got something else I wanted to share with you guys. Evergreen Writing Oasis is going on today. I'm really looking forward to this online writing conference. So I am putting the link there for you guys to check out the different agenda points that they have throughout the day. I know the ones that I want to go to. It's a virtual writing retreat. I've given you the link to the schedule. So today I'm going to be at the marketing panel, the fast drafting, and the outlining and drafting panel. I'm going to try to get to discovery writing. I'm going to probably have to leave the drafting panel to go cook. I might miss the beginning of the discovery writing because we're eating and we're having UFC. I want to watch the diversity panel, but we're going to be UFC watching with the family. But what's so cool about it is that they have these recording on YouTube. So don't quote me on that, but I think that they are being recorded because when I pulled up, I could see Burnout Fill the Well panel. I could see it there. So that was the one from last night. So that's what's really cool about these authors freely giving of their time to help other authors motivate, encourage, and teach. So I'm looking forward to it. And the things that I cannot pick up with today, I'm going to then be able to have this opportunity to go back and watch some of their videos, hopefully. So I'm sure it is. But y'all need to check out that schedule. It looks really cool. So I wanted to get my writing in this morning before all this craziness happens today, all this learning. Hey, Princessa. Hey, you got to check out that Evergreen Oasis. I put the link in there for you to see it, to look at the schedule. I didn't know if you knew, but there is a free virtual writing conference going on this weekend, and it's packed with really cool topics. So I think we can all benefit from like showing up as best as we can. But then I've got UFC tonight with the family. So we are a UFC watching family. So that time with my son's got to come before what I want to watch on YouTube. But I will pick up on some of those other recorded events tomorrow. Yeah, it's so cool. I hope you can click on that link. It's the Evergreen Oasis. Here, I'm going to share my screen and show you, and you can set reminders on YouTube if you have an opportunity. So this is the Evergreen Writing Oasis, and it's free. I love free events. I love it when authors are unselfishly giving of their time to just help other authors in this world. Look at that Burnout Fill the Well. Definitely need to check that one out from yesterday. And today, this is what they're working on. And so I want to go to like all of these starting at 11:30. I want to be at everything. And so if you hit like the attend button, look where it's taking you. It's taking you to YouTube, and look, you can see all of the different ones. They already have 6 videos that they're updating. Look, I absolutely love how they've structured everything. So super impressed with it. So I know me and a couple of my other writing friends are going to be there. Tish is going to be there. Anna's going to be there. And we had our boot camp this morning at 6 o'clock. So we've already met this morning and we already kind of outlined our day and the activities we want to do. But I think it's cool. I also just showed everyone how to create a join my mailing list, because I know a lot of times authors struggle on maintaining a consistent mailing list. I made this Google form up today. That was one of my to-do lists. I don't know if you got to see the beginning of the video, but I did a tutorial on how to quickly create a join my mailing list. And that way you can put it up out on your social media. I don't know if you've ever used Google Forms before, but you could check the beginning. I do a quick tutorial before you just popped in. So to show people how to do a Google form if you've never used one, but it only takes a couple of minutes and you could continue to build your email list outside of your website. So I'm ready to write. Are you writing this morning? What's your goals for today? I've got a whole list of things I'm going to be working on for the whole week. I've already created my goal list, kind of talked through those, but meeting my 50,000 nano words yesterday live at 1 o'clock, started a sprint yesterday at 1 o'clock and I finished it up. So I've already met my nano 50,000. And so I'm continuing on. I can go to my Jamboard and I have 4 more chapters left and I will finish this novel and I will have the Sunday Killer written. I'm so excited. I love that I plotted out that 3rd act because it's going so fast, because I already kind of know. I'm just filling in all of the pieces. I already know what's going to happen. I did get a throw in of a new scene. So that's where I had to add in an additional chapter yesterday, because I was like, oh, they're going somewhere new. So I am still pantsing it a little bit. Oh, you got it. You can do it, girl. You can do it. So yeah, we're getting ready to start the sprint. I want to try to get the rest of this chapter done today, because I do want to go to the writing conference and we have UFC tonight. But I do want to get my chapter in. I'm on chapter 25 right now, and I want to finish that up. So I'm glad you're here. I'm getting ready to start the timer. We're about to do a 20-minute sprint. I'm going to go ahead and put it, we are about to enter into a 20-minute sprint. I'm going to put it into the comments just in case somebody pops in. I don't have one of those fancy timers, but I can at least let people know that I'm not crazy and just staring at the screen and doing absolutely nothing. Was our begin time. I'm going to say 9:24 just to give myself. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. That's my girl. That's my girl. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I got to do this last line. Okay, here we go. Okay, so now I'm back. That one was like intense because my character, I love my Heather Moody character. She has been through some traumatic experiences in her life, not only just what she has seen as a homicide detective and having to live that high, intense pressure life, but she has some family experiences, some that are very similar to my family experiences. And so I'm kind of working through, honestly, some things. You know how they say authors will put a little bit of themselves in every book? It's happening. And so I'm really feeling the emotional swing of this character, of how she's having to be present and how hard that can be sometimes. Because when you're present, that means you have to, be aware. You have to be in the moment. You have to feel and connect and exchange. And she's so used to working and she's so used to doing her thing that she has failed to take time in her life to enjoy life. And so she's going through these moments as a detective where the case is so much, but her team is actually trying to say, but you can still be present. So she's battling that, and that was the last conversation. She's got a new lead in her mind, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, what if it's this?" And guys, we've missed this the whole time because I know what my foils were, and I know who my killer is, and I know what this is leading up to. It's easy for me to do this right now, to do this work, but it is emotionally hard for me also to do this work because I feel for Heather. I feel for my character. um, I love her and I want her to do well and I want her to be present. I want her to see the friendships that she's developing and the possible love interest that are around her. Um, because I do have a subplot of romance in here. I am a romance author. I can't help it. So I'm writing, yes, the Sunday killer, but there is like this whole romance in here. I mean, you got to people. So I do have that side plot going on, this subplot going on, this romantic theme. So yeah, Princessa says we're on the same page. So when I'm writing about her struggles of connecting and her struggles of being present and balance and things that she wishes that she could do, like go to the falls, go to Crystal Falls. I mean, she moved there. It's got hiking trails. It's got all of these things, but she's pretty much isolated herself, um, and really drowned herself in her work so she doesn't have to feel. Um, and so now it's going to be time for her to try to feel. And this whole getaway weekend that kind of showed up, kind of surprised me. And that's where I can say I'm a plantser now, because I've plotted it all out, but I'm still pantsing this experience. And when now there's this scene in nature, like now they're going out in a secluded place, she's having to learn that sometimes you've just got to connect. You have to. So it's a challenging piece for me because it's a personal piece too. With her, there is something that I do, and it's one of my coping mechanisms. I don't know if you guys have ever heard people explain their life like this, but I don't know if you do this, Princessa, or not, but I will put things in boxes. Like, actually, I will imagine like a box in front of me, and I will put that thing, whatever that thing is, and I will put it in a box, and I'll wrap it up, and I'll seal it with a bow, and I'll like store it in my brain. And I know that sounds so weird, but I do that. And then sometimes when the boxes get so crowded, that's when I realize that I've put too much, I've stored too much away. The boxes are going to want to start unraveling and unwrapping, and I've got to face them, and I've got to deal with whatever it is that I put into that box. And so I'm learning just as a person. Oh yeah, I do that. I'm learning as a person to be able to address the box, even if it's one. Yeah, the box is serious for me. I've done it for years and years, since I was a teenager. I've done this. I've never met anybody else that did it. I thought that was, I'm so glad you said that, because I felt like that was just my way of processing things about the box. And so I actually gave that to Heather. I tried to express it in my book, to let the reader know that that's also kind of what Heather has been doing. And she's put these things in boxes, and now the boxes are so crowded in her mind that she's having to kind of unwrap the boxes one at a time. And I tried to say it that way, so I hope it comes across. I know this is just a first draft, and I know that I'm going to have a beta reader that's going to continue to help me with this. My Aunt Dot is amazing at this. But it just feels like this character is really important to me. And yes, my books, my characters do visit each other's stories. I do this in multiple books. So for this one, Crystal Falls, I'm using the same place in A Magical Christmas Wedding, which is my sweet romance. So when I said this whole Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I didn't just use that for his favorite book and what my process is like right now. Like, I'm writing a serial killer book with a cult, but I'm also promoting my sweet romance in the afternoon, which is kind of like my Dr. Jekyll piece. But I actually show the sweet side of Crystal Falls in A Magical Christmas Wedding, which is my sweet romance, my time travel romance. But I'm now showing the darker side of Crystal Falls in The Sunday Killer. So I had already world built kind of this whole town. So I'm just reworking it and showing the darker side, the police side. And one of the characters in A Magical Christmas Wedding is in love with Jade Kane, who's one of my detectives in the story. So I actually mentioned his name a few times in there. Yes, yes, I shall be your Aunt Dot. I will take that, and I will embrace it lovingly. I accept. We can have a whole ceremony. We can make a new certificate. I can make us a certificate on Canva. We all need an Aunt Dot, trust me. And so my Aunt Dot's in all my character, a lot of my books too. You'll see her name popping in there every now and then. You'll be like, I know her. This is her aunt for real. But yeah, I do they visit each other's stories in. Okay, so my Hartwell Chronicles, which is my horror book, my teenage exorcist book. So I have Tyler Locklear. his first cousin is Jamie Locklear, and they're kind of like, that's kind of like one of his brothers. Like they were raised really close. And Jamie Locklear is the main character in My Boyfriend's Back. And so if you read My Boyfriend's Back, Jamie is in the church and he's playing the piano because it's a musical family. I always write about music somewhere. And Tyler comes to visit because he's going to be doing his first piano performance kind of thing, and his girlfriend's going to be singing in the church. So Graceland is going to have this moment. They're not boyfriend and girlfriend in there, but it's his girl he loves. Spoiler alert, you'll know Jamie loves her anyway. But Tyler comes and he's joking with his cousin Jamie, like, don't let him sing. Let him play the piano. You do it. You're a good girl. You go on. And then he talks about Victoria Hartwell because they have a band. They have a rock band. And their whole dream is like to tour and to go watch Coheed and Cambria all over and just follow them around. And I do Coheed and Cambria because that's my kids' favorite band. So I'm giving them props in there. And then I change and have another Native American band in there, and got special permission to use Mark McKinney and Company because they're a Native American band that we love. And so we use them too. So it's so cool. I did that cross of characters, and I made them cousins. So them Tyler Locklear and Jamie Locklear might as well. Yeah. Oh yeah. So Coheed and Cambria, my son wants the tattoo of the dragonfly. That's one of his on his list of tattoos to get. What the wanting to travel after bands? Is that your childhood wanting to travel after bands, or how much you loved Coheed and Cambria? They've seen them multiple times in concert. But I love that when I get in the car with my kids that I give them free reign over Spotify, and they introduce me to such wonderful bands. Like I was raised in the 80s. I'm 45, so I'm an 80s girl. And I still go back to my 80s music. So I introduce them to all of that. Okay. So yeah, Coheed and Cambria, I love them too. But my son also, his favorite bands, well, Coheed, I don't know if you knew that they also have graphic novels, that they write comics. So cool. They're published. But I also, like, I love Korn. And my kids have seen Korn multiple times through the rebellions and going to all of their concerts. It's one of my dreams. One of my bucket list dreams is to see Korn in concert. And I was supposed to go this year, and Korn wasn't there, but Metallica was. And then they canceled it because of COVID. But I was going to get to see Metallica. And then I didn't get to go. But Mastodon is another one of their favorite bands. When my son graduated from high school this year, and that's what he wanted was 3 Mastodon t-shirts. So he got him some band t-shirts. That's why I love like merch. Like I tell people all the time, create your own merchandise. We love stuff like that in our family. So yeah, but you got some good bands in the 90s. Oh, Stevie Nicks, look at you. There you go. I love the tone of her voice. It is so unique. Like sometimes when you listen to artists and they have just, you don't know who is who. The minute you turn on anything from Stevie Nicks, you know, it's like, that's a clear knowing. You know what I mean by that? I love, and that's why Coheed and Cambria, I think that's why we love them so much, because they are so unique. Like the minute you hear it, I will say like the minute you hear a Metallica song, it's almost like you kind of know that's them just by the sound. same way with Coheed. But as soon as, oh gosh, I do. I would love a bedazzled cowboy hat and boots. Oh, I love boots. I wore my boots out. I actually had to throw my boots away, um, to where they were just so torn up. My husband was like, I'm gonna get you some boots. But then I was like, no, don't spend the money. But I love boots too. Um, so yeah, I need the cowboy hat and I need the boots. See, now I got to do some kind of merch. So my goal as an author is for, yes, I agree. Like, that's what I want for me too. That's one of my goals as an author, is where if somebody picks up my book, they know it's my authentic voice. They know it's my weirdness coming out. They're going, this is Jennifer's weirdness. This is Jen all the way. This is her quirky style. This is her authentic voice. And I feel like each time I write a book, I wholeheartedly put everything I have into that book, all my emotion, my heart, not just my time. I'm not talking about that. We all know it takes time to write a book, but that I really take special care in the honoring of that page and the honoring of that style. So that way, if you pick up, if it's a fantasy, if it's a horror, if it's whatever it is, if it's a thriller, that you still get that it's me. And I think that's why, like my publishing company with Sweet Potato Jones, that one is traditionally published and that one's coming out in August. I feel like when people grab that book, even though it's YA contemporary fiction, and it's about homelessness and, gang life and a lot of things that people deal with in the high school setting with pressures and so much, with such an endearing family story at the root and the heart of that, and a sweet romance, I feel like they'll get my tone, they'll get my style, then they'll pick up another one of my books and it's going to be completely different character, completely different world building, and completely different feel as far as like where is it going directional wise, that it's going to be that same underlying heartbeat. So I want the heartbeat to be recognized regardless of what I write. And that's where my prayer comes in, is that the Holy Spirit steps in and kind of helps me fill in the places that I don't know. And just giving over that whole page. But yeah, that's one of my goals. You wrote that in there about this, like Stephen King has that tone and that style. But another one of my goals in my author business side is to create merchandise for each one of my novels. So you've just the bedazzled rhinestone cowboy kind of stuff. My daddy loved that song, Like a Rhinestone Cowboy. I don't know if you my parents were country people listening to country. Yeah. So I gotta do some cute ones. Let's see. I just got an affiliate thing. I have an affiliate for Canva. I use it so much, and but I don't use the affiliate links. I'm gonna do better at all of this stuff. I've got that on my goal to do too, for my author life. But let's see. I hope you got some good writing in when we did our sprint. Yeah, I think what they get to the pressure is writing to maybe to what they feel might be popular. I think when you say get lost in the sauce is good. I think that sometimes like they might just get caught up in the demands and the pressures and all of that. I think that I'm sure every author wants to have that authentic voice, but sometimes they may lose their way and they just may need to recenter themselves back and remind themselves of their why. I tell my people all the time, all my writing friends, like once you identify your why you're writing, that helps bring you back to your core, that core belief system about your writing. And if you've never journaled your why, I would really encourage you to do that, because it will enlighten you and it will bring you back when there are times when you might feel like, or what am I doing this for? Or why am I doing it this way? Or what's even going on? I've got too many boxes right now and it's crowding. You can go right back to your why, and it can really help you keep your focus. And I think it's the balance. And we have to remind ourselves sometimes that we get lost along our own paths. And that's what I was talking about, self-discovery this morning, and how we need to claim our author selves without losing who we are. Like, it's really easy to show up and do the work that you need to do. Like, for example, a writing sprint or just showing up online. When you're your authentic self and you're just hanging out, it's easy. You know, when you try to be someone you're not and you try to put on a costume, and that's not you, you might be able to wear that costume for a certain amount of time, but then you will start forgetting who you are in that process. So it's always best to kind of be who you are no matter where you are. If that makes sense. I don't know. All right, I'm going to go check my word count, see where I'm at right now, because I wrote tons in that 20 minutes. And I got to move, because once I said this yesterday, once I find out what my once I find out where I'm going with something, and then I get to my last line, I know it's my last line. Mine is try to live for the first time. That's that chapter, last line. So I'm there. So now all I have to do, if it's not long enough, I can just go in and edit it in other places. I'm kind of weird about the first line in a book, and then the last line in each chapter matters a lot to me. I don't know. That's just me. So I'm going up and checking. This ended up being a pretty long chapter, I think. I'm still highlighting it to count the words. Yeah, I got a lot accomplished today. Okay, chapter 24. I know you're done. What are you? 2811. There we go. Let me go in. 2811. So now that is chapter 24. It's a total 2811. Last night I did 218 words, but I did not log them into the Nano site. I mean, I'm done with the Nano goals, but I still want to go back in. I had an extra 218. I'm keeping it up on my Jamboard. I don't know if you use Jamboard or not, but I actually love this thing so much. I'm going to be using it forever, ever, ever as a part of my writing process. Yeah, the last line of each chapter. I love the last lines of chapters. Have you ever, just pull a book off your shelf, flip to the last line, pull a book you love, and go to last lines of, everybody talks about the first line of a book. I understand the importance of that, but I love the last lines of chapters too. Oftentimes those are the ones that really make that power punch for me, and it makes me keep going. And that's what makes me, oh gosh, I gotta turn the page. That last line. Ooh. Like when I'm reading, I'll highlight last lines, which is absolutely dumb because all I have to do is just go to the end of the chapter. But yeah, I'm a little weird. I love the last lines. So I think one of my favorite last lines is in Sweet Potato Jones. I can't say that one out loud. I can't do that, spoiler alert, but that is, out of all the last lines I've ever written, that's my favorite. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good about my accomplishments today. So now I'm at 61,085. in this book. And chapter 24 is done. And now I have 4 to go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and log in while I'm on here. 61085. 61085. No, I didn't log in. I didn't go back in with Nano and log in all these extra ones. I'm good. I got my certificate. Good to go. I'm just going to keep logging it in on my Jamboard. Yeah, 2159. Okay. And with this, I'm probably going to get that 70,000 words. If I can at least get a 2,000 each chapter, which could be longer, and with me planting it, I could possibly get a new chapter in there. Even though I only think I have 4 to go, chapter 25 it could possibly lead to major things, because I am pulling up to the climax of Act 3 right now. Then I will have the wrap up and the end. And so if you're looking at the finale scene of Act 3, if you're looking at the Save the Beats sheet, the finale is gathering the team, which they are doing now. They got their team gathered. They're executing a plan, because something's about to happen. Hightower surprise, that's the big thing. They got to dig down deep, and they have to execute a new plan, and then you have your final image. That's the steps if you're looking at the Save the Cats beats. If you're just looking at the 3-act structure, which is a lot less detail oriented, you're just at the climax of Act 3. You've got your wrap up and your end, and you're resolving everything that you pretty much had loose throughout. And so she just came to like this huge revelation. Oh, you don't know? Okay. Do you like Google products? So we've got our What's the Jamboard? Google products has, if you pull up your Google, you'll be able to see Jamboard. I showed it a while ago. Here, let me, here, I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you. I'll share my screen. Okay, if you go to your Google, go to Jamboard, and you'll see all my Jamboards. I absolutely love this thing. Bad to the Bone is my horror comedy middle grades. It's kind of like, if you could imagine, We Are in the Shadows for kids. Just a hilarious group of friends, a Frankenstein, a witch, and a vampire. And they've created their own kind of club. It's called Bad to the Bone. It's in middle grades. But that's when I started really going through. I also have the Fae that I started my Jamboard, but I'm going to get back into it. That's my middle grades fantasy. Both of those were written in the spring. I've got 2 complete novels done for my middle grades life. And then I'm just going to keep going. But I'll show you how easy it is. Like, you just pull up a new Jamboard. I like the black, but I mean, you can choose any of these grids or notebook paper. It's like super cool, but I like the black. And then over here, you just create a sticky note, and you can change any of these colors that you want. And, you know, you could put Bible. I have like Bible verses that I add to my sticky notes, and goals. And, oh, this is an Act 1, and you can make it big and small, and you can move it around and rotate it. Super cool. You can also add images in here, and I like to do that. And I also like to add the websites that I'm researching while I'm in my book. So I have so far on the Sunday. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, some people like that tactile kinesthetic though, to where they're writing on their wall. There's a lot of people that do that. Me, I don't have like, I don't think my husband would appreciate that. This is my own little office space. I think he would think it would be really weird if I had everything just right here. I don't have my own office. I have too many kids to have a space separate from my little carved out place. But so this digital wall works so good for me. And you just can create multiple pages. I have 6 pages on my Jamboard just for the Sunday Killer. So yeah, I started digital keeping all kinds of new stuff. This summer, I started the Jamboard process. I did it with my edits. When I went in, I rewrote Bad to the Bone. It was 2,000 words. It was meant to be an early reader chapter book, kind of like Magic Treehouse series for little kids. Kind of like a 2nd and 3rd grade read. So I do have that. But then I went in with my Jamboard, I created a new Bad to the Bone, and I rewrote it. And I pushed it to almost 24,000 words. And I use that Jamboard as a way to just keep up with everything and document. So it's kind of like my Nano every day. I'm going to be keeping up with those Jamboards on all of the work that I do. I think it's just some way I like. I like all the colors. I like being able to move things around and keep adding. That's why if you hear me talk about like how I outlined, I did keep a Google Doc and pages of notes, but I moved from the Google Doc to the next step was my Jamboard, where I actually have my final 4 chapters plotted out with the titles and everything, like of what's going to happen in each of the next 4 chapters. So that's why I think it's easier for me to finish up this Act 3. It's just really emotionally heavy. So I'm having to pray through a lot of this emotional boxes, if that, you know what I mean now. So that's cool. Oh, you're welcome. I probably should do like a separate video on Jamboard and teach my homeschool families the Jamboard. That way they can do that with their kids, because you can actually, like if you have a writing partner or if you have a writing group or you want to have a brainstorming session with a friend, you can actually share your Jamboard with someone else and they can get on there with you in real time and create that Jamboard together. That's where I learned it from. It's from, I'm a teacher. So we had a professional development on digital tools that are free that we could use with students, and all of our students use Google products. So any kind of Google stuff, I'm very anxious to learn about it. And I was excited when I saw it, because I was like, wait, this isn't just like, because I'm not downing any program, but we used to use a program and it was kind of similar where you could create your own sticky notes, but you had to sign in, you had to create accounts, you had to do all that. You had to remember what your login was, and kids aren't going to remember that. Their Google is already attached to everything in their school accounts. So that was one of the downfalls of that other program. Even though you could make pretty backgrounds and you could personalize it, you could still get people to join in. So yeah, I love new tools. And when I saw, hey, Ann is in here. So Princessa Ann is over on Twitch. Ann, I've been working 1 hour and 24 minutes. I'm looking at my timer up in the corner. I've talked about quite a few things today. I created the Google form. I taught people how to do a Google form, and now I just showed people how to do Jamboard again, because we're having a Jamboard discussion, Princessa and I, over on YouTube. But I love digital tools because not only can I use them for my author world, but I can use them and help share with students. So the more I can get both going on in my life, that helps me with my teaching job. It also helps me with my writing. And the minute I was in that and I found out about Jamboard, I was like, oh, I could plot my books, or I could outline my books, or I could keep up with my word counts and what chapters are going. And I do a color coding technique for Bad to the Bone, which was super helpful for me in the editing phase. Anne knows about how I do colors because of the intensity, and you can use, the green, the yellow, the orange, and the blue, or you could pick like different ones. You can do color intensities, and when you're editing, you can check your color, and you can think of the color wheel, because you don't want everything to be high intensity, like all high orange. You want to bring the reader back a little bit, kind of on the roller coaster ride, and then pull them through another high intensity loop, and then calm them back down a little bit and build the tension again. And so with the Jamboard, what's cool is that you can do all kinds of different colored sticky notes, and also look at your intensity over time. And that, if you've got too many greens in a line, or if you want to use the color blue for soft moments, if you've got so many soft chapters, people might actually say, wait, that might be a little too much, and that might be where it lags or where it gets boring a little bit. And you might want to up your intensity colors a little bit. So I think in colors, and I think in images. And so that's why I think that Jamboard piece works for me, because I then color code my book. And so if I share my screen, Anne is looking at unfinished projects. I wanted to show Jamboard again. You can see my color coding for my Bad to the Bone. You can see that I have the two greens, and there's a green, and then it starts rising, and then my high intense chapters are my orange, my yellows are my guilds, my blues become my soft again to give the reader a comfortable break, then to rise it up again, and my green is my exit out, my all close up. And so you can look at that example of just my color coding technique of when I did that. And then what's cool is that it shows the last day that I actually was working on the book too. It keeps up with my dates, which is super cool, because I know it's been since June 9th that I worked with Bad to the Bone. And then I moved into the Sunday Killer, and now I'm going to move back and cycle into the Faye of Averly. It's 28,000 words. It's a middle grades, really fourth grade up. It's a fantasy. I want you to think about Introduction to Fairies, kind of like where Narnia would sit on a shelf. That's kind of where the Faye of Averly sits. But I've got that completed. My first draft is done. Now I want to go back in with my Jamboard and do the color coding. That is not color coded, but I want to do the color coding to make sure that I'm getting the points in that I want to get in. So yeah, that's just some kind of like my writing process, behind the scenes things that kind of help me keep my roller coaster of my writing going. So Anne is doing monthly goals in her journal. We talked this morning about prioritizing projects and what's next, and setting these goals. I don't know, Princess, if you've got your goal for your thriller, like when you know in your mind you would like to have it completed by. But I know that I want my first draft to be done by the end of this month, by the end of this Nana round. I do want my first draft. I'm going to walk away from it, and I'm going to pop into the Faye of Averly, and then pop into Bad to the Bone. Then I'm going to come right back to the Sunday Killer. That will give my Aunt Dot time to finish the book, give me feedback as my beta reader, and then I can jump right back in and start with my own edits. And then by September, I want to pitch it in Pitch Wars. I don't know if you do Pitch Wars on Twitter, but I love Pitch Wars. I got 3 agency hits on Bad to the Bone. So I am proof that you can get agency hits with that. And so for the whole month of September, I'm going to start it with Pitch Wars on Twitter. And then I'm going to move from pitch wars, and I'm actually going to go after some aggressive querying. I'm going to be sending out daily queries for the Sunday Killer. And then I'm going to see if I can get any kind of bites on that, any kind of possible representation. And I'm going to do that. I want to do that for before May of 2021. And then I can then set it up for pre-order and publish it myself. I love it. That is a wonderful birthday present. You are so close to Sam's birthday. Sam, my son's birthday is near the end of August too. August the 30th, you got to have a birthday celebration. I will never forget the first time I held my book in my hands, and it never gets old. I'm just going to let you know, every time you do an unboxing, it never gets old. So you need to have your own celebration in the author community. People are having celebrations all the time. So on your platforms, you need to be celebrating that up. So, well, all right, Ann, I'm glad you popped in over on Twitch. Oh, my son is super, super proud. He is my champion, my baby. Now, my oldest, he is a wise man. He is extremely intelligent, way smarter than me, way smarter than I'll ever be. And he is my sounding board when it comes to my author business. My youngest is the most creative little being there ever was. And he brainstorms with me every day. I have these brainstorming sessions with my kids about the Sunday Killer. And so, yeah, he loves Criminal Minds. He loves Law and Order, SUV, Blue Bloods. He's watched them all, like my 12-year-old. And he's like, Mama. And so he's like my little expert that I brainstorm with. He's super proud. Anna is talking to me, Princessa, over on Twitch, that I sent her certificate this morning. And I guess what I didn't realize, Ann, that certificate has a date you completed Nano. It was at the very bottom. So I left your date blank at the very bottom of that image. I didn't even see it when I first created mine. So I don't know if you want me to go in and fill in the date that you met your Nano goals. My friend Ann is talking to me about her completion, and because it wasn't accessible, they didn't make the certificates accessible. I've got it for Ann, and I emailed it to her. I don't know if you want me to do that, Ann, but if you do, give me the date of when your final completion was, and I could go in and fix it really fast and resend it to you. But if you don't care about that date on the bottom, don't worry about it. That's completely up to you. But yeah, it's always good to have people. Yeah, okay. Ann said she doesn't care about the exact date on the bottom. I liked my date, y'all, July 17th. I'm weird about my numbers too. Ann knows what my favorite number is. My favorite number is 7. And so anytime I get anything that's got like a 7 in it, I'm like, hooray. My aunt's favorite number is 13, my Aunt Dot. So I have to always kind of give shout outs somewhere in books, like with the number 13 somewhere. Those are kind of little Easter eggs I'll throw in sometimes. But that's for my Aunt Dot. But my number is 7. So I'll try to do 7s a lot too. And then I was finished on 7/17, which was cool, for my 50,000 words in those 17 days. So that's easy too for me to remember, because as working in the world of literacy, I don't necessarily hold on to numbers very well. So it kind of was just like, oh, the 7 was in there, the 17th. I'll never forget that. Well, all right, guys, I'm going to close it up. I have met my goal for today. I am super excited. And with my writing sprint time, I finished up chapter 24. I'm going to be going to the online writers conference today. The first session, I shared it out. The first session has already started. That was Series Bible. It came on at 10 o'clock, but that marketing panel starts at 11:30, and that's the one that I want to go to. So I'm going to go drink another cup of coffee with my kids and spend a little bit of time with my husband before the 11:30 starts. I can hear he's downstairs listening to YouTube. He's probably watching people bulldoze things. I mean, we have some weird weeks in our house where he will watch beekeepers for a week, and now he's on to like bulldozers and heavy machinery. Oh, all right. There you go. Awesome. Princessa has had some great moments today. Thanks for sharing with me too about the boxes. I have found my kindred spirit and I am now her Aunt Dot. I have been nominated. So go to work, and I will be back. All right. So Anne, are you going to go to the Evergreen Oasis Writing Conference? See anything today? Because I'm planning on that 11:30, so I'm gonna head on out and then be back just watching YouTube. That's why I wanted my writing done this morning. So, and then UFC comes on tonight, so I'm not gonna be doing anything tonight except UFC and eating appetizers. I bought boomerang shrimp and I bought potato skins. So we're having like our UFC party to go along with it. Yeah, that's the good thing about it being on YouTube. We get to watch it when we can. So I'm going to catch back up because I want to watch that one about filling up your well, the writer well-being. That's my whole doctorate work is well-being and positive psychology. So I'm really, I need that too for myself. So that one was from last night that I missed. So I want to catch up on that one too. But I will talk to you guys later and love y'all and have a good day.